Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk about the I-751 petition to remove conditions and what happens after your marriage-based green card has been approved. So after you have received your marriage-based green card, you might feel like you've reached the end of your very long immigration process. However, if you were granted a conditional green card, you're not quite done yet. The next crucial step is filing the I-751 petition to remove conditions on your residence. Now, this petition allows you to transition from a conditional green card holder to a permanent resident green card holder, and it ensures that your green card status remains valid. So today I'm going to explain what the I-751 petition is, who needs to file it, and what steps you need to take to ensure that the process goes smoothly. So now let's start with what is a conditional green card. So a conditional green card is issued to immigrants who have been married for less than 2 years at the time their green card was approved. Now, the conditions, and I'm saying that with air quotes, on this card are designed to ensure that the marriage is actually genuine and that the couple did not enter into the immigration into the marriage for the purpose of getting immigration benefits. Now, this conditional green card is valid for 2 years, and during this time, your residency status is essentially provisional. So in order to keep your residency status and avoid losing your green card, you must take action before it expires by filing the form I-751. Now, what is the form I-751? Well, it is called the petition to remove conditions on residence, and it is used only for those who have been granted conditional residency, and they are required to file this form. Now, once you file the form and your conditions have been removed, you will receive a 10-year green card, which can be renewed indefinitely, okay? Now, who needs to file the petition? I already went over this, right? A conditional resident who received a conditional green card because their marriage was less than 2 years at the time they received the green card has to file the form I-751. Now, typically, both spouses will file this petition jointly. However, there are some exceptions where a conditional resident can file without their spouse, and this can happen in the cases of divorce or death or abuse, and sometimes for extreme hardship as well. Now, when should you file the I-751 petition? Now, you want to remember that timing is key when filing this petition. So you want to submit the form during the 90-day window before your conditional green card expires. And failure to file this within the time frame could result in you losing your residency status and even can result in you being placed in removal proceedings. Okay, so you want to be very mindful that you're filing this on time. If you're divorced, if you're widowed, or you experience abuse in your marriage, then you can apply for a waiver of the joint filing requirement, and you are able to file even before your green card expires, and sometimes even after. So when filing the form I-751, what type of evidence should you provide, right? Well, you want to provide additional evidence of a bona fide and genuine marriage. USCIS wants to see proof that your marriage was entered into good faith, not for immigration benefits. And they want to see proof that you continue to have a good faith, bona fide marriage. So you can submit joint financial documents like tax returns, joint bank account statements, mortgage or lease agreements, credit card statements, and so forth. You can also submit affidavits from friends and families who can provide statements and attest to the legitimacy of your marriage. You can provide photographs together, images of you on holiday, family gatherings, sharing significant life events. That's also helpful to prove a bona fide marriage. Birth certificates of any children. So if you've since had children together from when you were married, you can provide that. This is very strong evidence of a bona fide marriage, okay? So joint children is great evidence. You can share shared insurance policies, health insurance policies, and so forth. And travel records. So if you've taken trips together, you can provide proof of your flight tickets, itinerary, hotel bookings, and so forth. The more comprehensive your evidence, the stronger your case is going to be when you're trying to remove conditions on your green card. So what happens after you file Form I-751? Okay, so you are going to receive a receipt notice. Okay, you'll receive that from USCIS. The notice is going to serve as proof that your petition was received and automatically extends your conditional resident status for an additional, about roughly at this time of this video, 48 months. And during this time, you can continue to live and work in the US as a conditional resident. Next, you're going to receive a biometrics appointment, okay? USCIS will schedule a biometrics appointment for you. In some cases, if they do have your fingerprints on file, they will issue you a notice saying that they're going to use the biometrics information that they have on file for you, and you will not need to come in to do biometrics, but there are some cases where people do have to go in and get their fingerprints. Another thing that can happen is that if USCIS determines that your petition lacks sufficient evidence, they may issue you a request for evidence. And this request will specify what additional documents is needed. It's going to be very important for you to respond to the request for evidence promptly and thoroughly in order to avoid any delays in your case or even potentially a denial, okay? And then after this, an interview, and that's if it's required, okay? So not every applicant is going to need to attend an interview. USCIS may request interviews in some cases. And if you and your spouse are called for an interview, you want to make sure that you're prepared to answer questions about your relationship, and you want to provide any additional evidence as well. Okay, so once your case is reviewed, USCIS will either approve your case or they will deny your petition. If approved, you will be issued a 10-year green card without any conditions. And if you're denied, USCIS will explain the reasons for the denial and may initiate removal proceedings in some cases. In some cases, they might not do that, right? However, when this happens, or if this happens, you will have an opportunity to challenge the denial or appeal the decision made by USCIS. Now, earlier I talked about some exceptions to the joint filing. Now, I want to talk about what happens if you are divorced or separated from your spouse when it's time for you to remove the conditions on your green card. Now, if you and your spouse have divorced and are in the process of separating, you may still file the I-751 petition with a waiver of the joint filing requirement. So in this case, you're going to need to demonstrate that your marriage was entered into good faith. So you still need to prove that you entered into a bona fide marriage, but you're going to have to be able to provide evidence of the divorce. Or in some cases, if there was abuse in the marriage, evidence of the abuse that you faced in the marriage, okay? You want to, and you're gonna need to provide additional evidence when you are applying for a waiver. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering, how long does the I-751 process take? And I can tell you that its processing times will vary according to the different USCIS field offices. But as of now, I would say you should prepare your mind to wait at least 12 to 24 months. I would say closer to the 24-month mark. But you want to be sure that you are checking the current processing times on the USCIS website. If you're working with an immigration attorney, you can speak with your attorney as well and stay up to date with any information regarding your case, okay? Now, you've received your 10-year green card. What is next? Well, once you are a permanent resident, you are no longer a conditional resident, so congratulations. You can renew your green card every 10 years, right? Or you can decide to apply for U.S. citizenship. And if you are married to a U.S. citizen, you can typically apply for citizenship 3 years after obtaining your conditional green card. So not when you obtain the permanent green card, when you obtain the conditional green card, you can apply for citizenship 3 years from that date. If you're not married to a U.S. citizen, right, you'll have to wait 5 years after you've become a permanent resident before you can become eligible for naturalization. Okay, so in conclusion, I want to say that filing the I-751 petition is a very crucial step for conditional residents who wish to secure their permanent green card. And by filing the form on time, providing sufficient evidence of your genuine marriage, and following the process carefully, you can transition from conditional to permanent residency smoothly. Okay. And if you have any concerns about this process or you need assistance with your petition, you can feel free to contact our office for guidance. We're here to help you through every step of the process. We work with many clients who are going through the removal of conditions process, and we will be able to help you. If you are a conditional resident and you require a waiver for many reasons, right? Whether it's abuse, hardship, or divorce or separation, you can also give us a call and we'll be able to assist you. Thanks again for tuning into this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.